Okay. All right. So we are here. We've made it. Yeah, we made it. It's been a week, and but we made it. We made it to the week. How you doing, man?
You opened the show with a phrase, "We made it," like we just survived, like a D-Day or something. Ah, we made it. We survived the beach. Yeah, man. It sounds like you've had a crazy week. I know I have too, in different ways than you. But yeah, it's so nice to be here. Scripts on Saturdays and episode 99, man, the big 100 coming up. So how's that feel?
I'm surprised we made it this far. I'm happy we did. Grateful for everyone that has been supporting so far with being in the audience, commenting, sharing it all out. That's been fantastic. Because again, it's such a it's such a different type of show on the interwebs here. We don't really have. I can't. I've looked. I haven't found anything else that does what we do. So.
Nope, and it's awesome. It's so cool. I look back at how I reached out to you on X, and you'd like I'd been filtered or something, so didn't see my messages. When you're like, "Hey, we're gonna do a competition, have some guests." The show's kind of morphed a bit from there into just like, "Hey, we're just gonna talk about movies every Saturday and
Yep.
talk about these scripts and get a peek behind the curtain on how it's made and how the sausage comes together." And it's been awesome. It has been awesome. I'm excited for some of the movies, the scripts that we've done and that are coming out are gonna be good. And just, of course, movies in general. It's just, this has always been my jam, so it's fun to have a place to kind of, I don't want to say purge because that sounds gross, but like, just like be able to share this type of stuff with other people that are into it as well. Anytime you can share passion with other people, it's great. And, you're industry insider, which is nice. You're sort of bridge that gap of like, there's a lot of stuff that people just don't get about the industry, right? They just never look into it, or they don't trust the stuff they do here. And so it's fun to have someone like you that says, yeah, this is what it's like. This is what it's really like, and so
it's my
it's been fun.
perspective of what it's like. I mean, everybody has their own.
Yeah, that's true.
own
I'm sure
stuff.
Jared Leto's point of view is probably very different from yours, but
Yeah, mine is definitely way more sober than his. That's for sure.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, dude, I'm excited. As always, it's fun to be here, talk about movies. I am super stoked. Did you see the new trailer that dropped for Project Hail Mary?
Yes, I did. Love it. Looking forward to
So
it.
excited, so excited. I've been telling people, my gamer friends on Discord. I posted that this week. I'm like, hey, here's the new trailer, but please do yourself a favor. If you like sci-fi, if you love a great story, please listen to an Audible or read the book before the movie comes out, because it's you can never undo the movie once you see it, right?
Yep.
And so please experience it from a book first, and then enjoy the movie as well. So dude, I you don't have to pay me to promote that. I'm super excited for it. I think the trailer looks really good. I think they nailed the casting from everyone I've seen so far. They made Rocky look really good. So yeah, I'm super stoked. Anyone who's listening to the show, please take that same advice. Read the book or listen to an Audible first before you see the film. Just because, it's like Lord of the Rings. If I had seen the movies first, I'd always see Elijah, right? As Frodo. And so it's like, no, you have to have it first. Let your brain make it first, and then you can still enjoy a good movie. So anyway, I'm stoked, dude. I'm so stoked for that movie.
Me too. I'm really looking forward to it, but I'm looking a bit more forward to today's conversation, because we got an interesting script for you guys out there.
Yes, Detour. Yes.
Yeah. So, excuse me, and my cough has almost gone away. Over 3 months of this lingering thing, and it's finally I'm finally getting on the home stretch where I'm not going to be coughing and hacking anymore. I'll leave all my hacking to the writing that I have to do. That's assignment work, as opposed to the passion projects. That's what I'll do there.
Good. It's a good plan.
All right. So with that being said, let's get to it. Welcome to Scripts on Saturdays, the only screenplay review show on the interwebs, discussing scripts both professional and amateur, circulating around Hollywood, giving you, the TV and movie-going audience, a behind-the-scenes and inside track on what writers are pushing and what producers are buying. I am your host, the Script Doctor, and joining me this week is TJ Mack of Mac Media. So glad to have you back, sir, especially for this one, because it's a horror genre script.
Yeah.
And...
Which knocks me out of my comfort zone, which I know you love to do. So this is not my favorite genre. But I've been pleasantly surprised in the past by some of the ones that we've covered, and it's like anything. You might not love a genre, but if a well written story or a well put together story is still good. It doesn't matter if the genre's one of your favorites or not. And this one was pretty good in a lot of ways. I definitely have some problems with it, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, well, it's got some moments to it, and we'll discuss some of that today. Now, this is one where, because I've been so busy, I haven't had time to find a proper synopsis for it. So we're just going to do it the basic log line here. As Max said, this is Detour. This placed 35th on last year's blacklist with 13 votes, so only a couple more votes than the previous week's script. It is written by Will Widger. Widger?
Widger. I'd say Widger is how I read
Widger?
it. But yeah, Widger.
Yes. And the logline for Detour is as follows. When a feuding rap group's tour bus breaks down in the middle of nowhere, 3 hip-hop superstars find themselves locked in a life-or-death struggle to survive the night as they are hunted by a group of locals with a hidden agenda. So,
yeah.
This, I will say, this logline is very accurate to the script, but it does create a couple of different ideas that your average audience member would naturally form in their head than what is actually on the script.
Yes, I would say it's accurate, but it is also equally misleading. Is how I would describe it. Like
Yeah.
it's there, but it's like, well, is it? First of all, feuding? Are they really feuding? I mean, I guess on a level they're feuding, but that doesn't really quite capture what's going on. So we're going to talk about it.
Yes, we are. Because when I read this logline, I got the sense that it was 3 hip hop superstars that have their own individual brand, and they're just on a general tour, like back in the day, or like in when you're mid tiers and certain musical elements, you'll be on a tour bus, and there'll be maybe 2 or 3 acts with you on that bus, because it's a big bus, and you guys are small. And if these are hip hop artists, they're primarily lyricists. They've got like a DJ with their loops, and then they just go up and freestyle or what have you. So you don't really need a whole lot of space here. And I thought it was 3 separate people. But this script introduces us to a band called Re-Up, and it's 3 people. One is named Mayday, and he does kind of the melodies and the music. The other one is what is it? Hold on, let me pull up my notes here. Sanskrit. That's why I was about to say Stilgard, but no, Sanskrit.
She's the
main lyricist of sorts. And then you have the main singer named Lil Slip. I don't know why that's their name, but Lil Slip. He's kind of like the face of the band or the group. He's clearly the most popular. People shout his name instead of the group Re-Up, and he is pretty much dressed up like Flava Flav on 11. Like, he's got big glasses, tons of rock jewelry all over his body, and he's got like a devil chain that he wears over his chest, over top of a diamond encrusted cross.
Yeah, kind of representing both neighborhoods there.
But also like playing both, because even after they do their show, they're at this kind of rap party of sorts. And while he is deciding to get some more attention and DJing, a random groupie just kind of drops to their knees in front of him, and we'll just let the rest of you
checks for his wallet. Just checks for his wallet.
Checks for his wallet. Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't find it, and so she was helping him find it. Yeah, so we're just jumping in, right? We're going in.
Oh yeah, we're going hot and mean right now.
So here we are. So yeah, they're living the life. We open with a concert, and the very last part of the concert, and then we follow them to the club where they're celebrating. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say. I think especially Sanskrit, she was written. My first impression was wrong. She ends up being very smart. You know, both her parents are what you say, adjunct professors.
Yeah.
And so she actually calls and talks to her dad, or texts her dad and talks to him a little bit. So we see a little bit of that. Like, you know, she's actually pretty cool, not super arrogant or, you know, thuggish, I would say.
Right.
And then, so we get a little bit of backstory on her. Did we get much on Mayday? I'm trying to remember if we
Well,
saw
Mayday
much
is
on
he's married, and he's expecting
that's right.
to be. He's an
and
expecting
he loves
father.
food. He's the foodie.
He's also the foodie. Yeah, like he loves food. It's almost to the point where I'm like, why is he in the music industry when he could probably be like wants to be a chef or something? But
yeah, and he kind of has an knack for it. It seems like. So yeah, he's the dad with, and he's a foodie. And then what about I was going to say Lil Slim, but Lil Slip. What do we know about him?
He's your typical frontman egomaniac that you would see in a movie like Almost Famous or Is This a Spinal Tap or whatever.
Fair.
Like he's that guy. He thinks he is the only talent. He's definitely being enabled by the group's manager Isaac.
Isaac, yes, Isaac. He's and we see a little bit of right away, right after the party when they well, let's see. I guess we can just I don't know how much detail you want to get into. There's not a ton of meat here. They go to the club, then we fast forward, they wake up, and we need to stop here and talk a little bit about the crazy fan. What do they call him? Psycho fanboy or whatever?
Super fan or something. Yeah, super fan.
Yeah, Superfan. So then we're introduced to Superfan. So Charlie is also another character you need to know. He's the big bodyguard. He's a cousin to Lil Slip. Right?
Yeah.
And he's the main bodyguard guy. Huge dude. He hurt his knee playing college ball, but he wants everyone to think he played pro ball so that he can get laid more often, right? I think that's kind of his side story. And so anyway, that morning, Charlie's getting all the groupies out. Apparently, they had a lot of fun, of course, in the hotel room. He's like, okay, ladies, let's get you out of here. And don't forget, here's some pens. We got some NDAs for you all to sign. I don't know if that's really how it works in the real world. I mean, are they really
usually you'd have to sign that before, not after, right?
Okay. I thought that was a little sus. I'm like, okay, whatever. So he gets the girls out of there. Where in the meantime, we see, like, just as the door's about to close, we have this tight shot of a gloved hand using a business card to prevent the door latch from locking.
Right.
And we see this this no good guy in a hoodie kind of slip into the room. Then what happens? I don't want to say it all. What happens?
He starts collecting all sorts of little things around their hair, wrappers, really just intrusive stuff, and makes
condom wrappers and stuff. It was gross, dude. Just a bunch of gross stuff.
Things that is like, what's going on? Then he hears some movement in the hotel and hides in the bathroom closet, and that is where Lil Slip comes in, and he brushes his teeth, and hears some commotion in the closet. He opens it up, and he's of course freaking out. Charlie comes in there, basically just roughs up Superfan, and then kicks him out of the room. Of course, Superfan is like, I wasn't going to sell this stuff. I was going to keep it for my own collection, which made it way worse.
I know. That was a great line. He's like, I wasn't going to sell it, I swear. And then Lil Slip's like, people buy this crap?
Yeah.
Because he's got this Ziploc bag with all this nasty stuff in it. And Charlie's like, let me get him out of here. And then, but the whole time, the Superfan doesn't he's still like totally Superfan. He's like, don't be mad at me. I've been to every concert. Don't screw up my what's his record or whatever he says.
His record, he doesn't want to miss a show or a performance.
Yeah. So they really show how he's just this total cuck, right? Like whatever it takes. So they kick him out, and then we kind of fast forward to the lobby, front of the hotel. They're loading up. I guess we should probably talk a little bit about what's his name, the bus driver.
That's Darnell. Really, so Darnell,
Darnell's important. Yeah,
Darnell's important. But on top of that, when we're introduced to Darnell and we find out that he's the driver, he is doing lines and drinking a lot.
Yeah. So back up. Sorry, we missed this. Rewind to the party at the night before at the club, and Darnell is like he's like their little jester, right?
Yeah.
It seems like he is just fun. He's crazy. He also drives their bus, of course, but you could tell that he's kind of one of them. They've accepted him as more than just the bus driver. He's hilarious, right? And so now go back to where we were. They're getting ready to load up on the bus. And he's missing, right? He's not there.
Darnell has essentially called in sick because he let the party get a little bit away from him. And so his replacement is this guy named Jed, who's in his 60s. And he talks the talk, and he convinces the team that they're in good hands as he drives them to their next show in Philadelphia, I think.
Yeah, he name drops a bunch of other people he says he's driven for, and puts them all at ease, cracks some joke, and they're like, all right, he takes their luggage, and then they're on the road.
Yep.
So yeah, and at this point, you're kind of seeing the setup, right? Because we know from the tagline, we kind of know what we're in store for a little bit, right? So I kind of like that we didn't spend a lot of time waffling around, right? We're kind of
Right.
just getting to where stuff starts happening, which I think is good. I think is good.
It is good because the opening of this script has some very dense pages. Like they're just blocks of paragraph before we even get to dialogue. So it kind of gets you
Right.
a little intimidated at first because you're thinking, oh gosh, because this guy, be a bit more use a bit more choice with his words as opposed to just like giving us these paragraphs. And he also drops in a lot of other movie references.
Oh my gosh. That I didn't even get like 80% of them, man. I'm like, I'm not sure who he's talking about here. Like he'd drop other names or like compare them to other people. Like I'm guessing these are other rappers or other things. I didn't know.
Maybe.
I didn't know half of this. So, yeah.
I do not know. All I know is that like the first major movie reference he drops is like, oh, we're going to do an opening shot just like in Goodfellas, walking through the party. It's like, don't do that. Don't remind me of a great movie. Make me focus on your film.
On your movie, yeah.
I mean, the other part also
yeah.
naming the one character Superfan. Also, I mean, I might be the exception to this, but I kept on thinking of the old George Wendt SNL sketch Superfans, where they talked about the Bears and the Bulls, and they were just a bunch of fat guys at a sports bar. And I was like, man, I would love to see those guys again. But I think most of that cast
the
is
Bears. Doubles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those bits. Yeah. Quick side note, by the way, man, did you watch the John Candy documentary, man, on Amazon? It's so good.
I have not seen it yet. I definitely need to clear out some time where I'm going to probably cry. Because
yes, do. We only watched about the first half, so I haven't finished it, but it's so good. So yeah.
I know a number of people that have worked with John Candy. I know people that grew up with him. I've worked with them. I knew the kid. So John Candy named a character after this kid that was like kind of going through some troubles that John Candy knew. And I met that guy as an adult, and it was crazy because it completely turned his life around for the better.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry, we totally got derailed there. This is my brain, dude. We talked about the Bears, the Bulls. I'm thinking of the heavyset guys in there because who was in there? Was that
George Wendt, Chris Farley, sometimes Michael Myers, and another guy who I can't remember.
And it was so good. And I just thought of Big P, and I thought of funny, and then I had that image of John Candy wearing his I think he was wearing a baseball jersey in Uncle Buck.
Yep.
When he meets the neighbor played by the actress from Roseanne, I can't remember her name, the sister.
That's Laurie Metcalf. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's banging her on the washing machine, right? And I just had that image, and it made me think of John Kent. Anyway, so that's how we got there. That's a little peek into my brain. I'm sorry, it moves very quickly. I'm not responsible for it. It changes channels on its own. So,
we have them back. They're on the bus, and they're going through some fan mail. Mayday gets a katana sword sent to him.
He's like, I'm keeping this.
Yeah, he was very much keeping that. Slip gets a pair of used panties and a phone number.
Yes. yeah. And a nice little note written by the woman who sent them. And he's like, gross. And those got thrown in the trash.
Yeah.
Thank heavens. So we're seeing them on the road, on the bus. What's going on? We see Sanskrit. She goes and she's going to go take a nap and sleep off her hangover. And she does for a little bit, but then that's when she talks to her father. And then when she exits her, they call it like a sleep booth or whatever. It's all blacked out so they can sleep while they're on the bus. She overhears some talk between Isaac, the manager, and Lil Slip, right?
And essentially Slip kind of keys in that they heard what's going on, and he basically tells the band, like, hey, after our last show on this tour, I'm going to seize some opportunities. And essentially he's saying, like, yeah, I'm kind of ending the group right now.
Yeah, they're like, what, you're saying it's over? And he's like, well, no. I mean, it's just for now. Of course, just for now, right? Like,
yeah.
Like it's when you want to break up with somebody and you're just like, oh, we just need some time off. We just need a little time. So it's an easy way of like breaking them up. So obviously, how did that go over with everybody?
Of course, Mayday is not too happy about this, but he's trying to like play it politely. And of course, Sanskrit is really just not, like, completely feels betrayed.
Yeah.
And
because they've been doing it. They established it's been about 10 years, right? That they've been together.
Yeah. So like before they were teenagers, because they're all in their very early 20s. They're like 22, 23. So they've been doing this since they were 12 or 13. And they finally like made it big. They're like the biggest rap group in the world in this script. They have more downloads than Drake. They're really at their peak, and this is their first major tour. Because they've done a couple other shows, but this is like their tour that they're headlining or that they're leading like 100%. It's all them. And
they've got one show left, which I thought was a total dick move. He's like, I'm going to tell you right now before our last show. That's the sort of thing you say after the tour's over, right? If you're going to do that crap.
Yeah, because now that last show is going to suck.
Yeah, but from a writing standpoint, you're like, all right, conflict, here we go. Let's do it now instead of later, right? So, okay, whatever, let's do it. And so, so this is this bus ride. And then on top of that, you're all locked into a bus together, which makes it even worse, right? Mm-hmm. And so then things escalate. And then it was Sanskrit, right? Goes after him? Like they're going to fight? Like
Sanskrit's going to like knock his block off, and things are getting really heated. And of course, even Isaac is trying to defend Slip like this is the right move. And he's the manager for the whole group, so he should be trying to coordinate deals with the rest of them.
Oh, but first, hold on. We got to say this. First, I remember this part specifically. Isaac is at the front of the bus. Little Slip breaks the news. Things start to get heated. And at some point, they say something about Isaac. And then Isaac from the front of the bus is like, hey, leave me. He's like this. Hey, leave me out of it. Just leave me out of it. And I'm like, just a sleazy. I was thinking of what is just Bohemian Rhapsody, right? When they portray what happened he tried to get he didn't try. He successfully got what's his name? Lead singer. Oh my God. Freddie Mercury to like leave the band, right?
Yeah.
Some slimy guy's like, you can make a lot more money. So anyway, I was like, that's on point. That's on brand for the manager. Isaac's at the front of the bus, avoiding all the conflict. And he's like, hey, just leave me out of it. I love everybody, right? Like whatever. Okay. And then suddenly this fight goes from just this fight to like the whole bus. There's a loud bang, and the whole bus just gets all topsy-turvy. Like everything gets thrown all over the place. And what happened? Why did the bus do this?
Front tire gets blown out. Don't know how. Jed recovers, so everybody's safe. But, and this is the one thing that made me scratch my head, is as they're getting out to assess the damage, they're like, oh, we don't have a spare tire. It's like you have a tour bus that's massive, and you don't have one spare tire. That's heavily sus. And so while they're figuring out what to do, it's like, okay, there's a gas station a couple miles this direction. There's a town a couple miles in this direction. We still have a few more days before we hit Philadelphia, so all we have to do is just call for an Uber and call a tow truck, and we'll be okay. And as they're about to call for an Uber, a Tesla kind of pulls up, slows down, and the driver, this young girl named Allie, is shocked to see one of her favorite bands or groups, re-up on the side of the road. And they have a quick back and forth, and she offers to give them a ride into town. So Jed and Isaac are, and also Charlie, are stuck with the bus, waiting for assistance, while the rest of the group heads into this diner called, I think, the Horseshoe, I think it's called, or something.
I don't know what it was called, but it's like a barbecue.
Oh, no, the Hog's Tooth. The Hog's Tooth, that's what it's called.
Yeah, the Hog's Tooth. So, I mean, I lived in North Carolina. If you're really bored, look up a town. It's called Chinkapin in North Carolina, spelled Chinquipin, I believe. Middle of nowhere, and they had a place just like this. So I'm like, I can imagine this place. It's not even a town. It's like 3 buildings right at an intersection, and one of them happens to be a little barbecue joint. Now, this town, of course, is a little bit bigger. We find that out pretty soon. But they're probably on the edge of this town. They stop at this barbecue joint, and the atmosphere is very Dukes of Hazzard, right? And instantly there is a couple, right, that reaches out to them because it's pretty packed. There's not a lot of places to sit. And they're like, "Hey, come over here, sit with us." And what are your first impressions of this couple?
Well, they're not hillbilly. I'll put it that way. Nope. They're really polite, and they are fans, which throws off everybody.
Mm-hmm. They're an interracial couple. We've got a black man and a white woman, right?
Right. Yes. Right? Yeah. So it's Dean and I can't remember, Dean and Erica. Yeah, that's the yuppie couple Erica. In their 40s.
Right, and they just so happen to have a new Airbnb that because he's was he an architect or a builder, whatever it was. They just built this new Airbnb.
You're right,
and of course these guys are looking for somewhere to stay. So yeah, they all kind of get to know each other at a very surface level in this booth. As the food, they're like not quite sure what to do, and they're picking out the menu. We quickly learn that we learned this on the way there from what was her name, Allie, the Tesla driver. She says she makes Lil Slip put his weed out, his joint out real fast.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. There's no like alcohol or drugs allowed in the city, and there's also some noise ordinances as well.
Right, and this is where like you said this in the green room, but like this is a good comparison of this movie would be more like Footloose meets. I don't even know the second half. How do I finish this sentence? But Footloose meets Every Which Way But Loose. I'm just kidding. That was my joke earlier, but
no, I mean,
it's
part of
like
me was.
Yeah, go ahead.
Part of me was reminded of the movie Nothing But Trouble. That's the Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, Demi Moore horrible comedy. Just because, like, you have a group of normal people stranded in a strange town, and there's a hierarchy going on in there, and they don't realize that hierarchy until it's too late.
Right.
It's also got a little bit of, I would say, like maybe cabin fever or.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to finish it, but it definitely, the whole rule set is like, because once they get into the bar and they meet Dean and Erica, they find out like, hey, can you tone down the swearing, right? Even the swearing is like, so it's very it's a grossly conservative almost town, and
purity definitely is an aspect to it. And it's moral purity, not obviously not racial purity, because
right, because
these
it's
two
not
characters here is a happily married couple of like one is black and the other's white.
Yeah, right. So it's not like a racist purity; it's just a good like Christian kind of thing. Like, hey, don't swear, don't drink, don't. And so that's the other thing. Yeah, there's no alcohol either, by the way. So. But yeah, so they the waitress is like, you guys, they can't decide. So the waitress is like, I'll tell you what, I'll throw something together and bring it out to you guys family style. And they're like, okay, great, sounds good. So she quickly comes back with a tray of barbecue meats, assorted meats, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was awesome, right? It was great.
Oh man, Mayday, who is the food aficionado, just loves it, and he was able to like pick out all the flavors, and he's like, there's this one flavor I just can't quite nail on, but it's really really sweet and good. And then it's like mixed with tobacco and a couple of other like other juices, and I think he was able to test like cayenne, lemon juice. Like he just had a really good palate.
He rattled off like 7 ingredients, and the waitress is like, "That's really good." She said, "What about the sauce?" And he's like, and then the waitress is like, "No, that's a secret. And if you've ever lived in the South, that is 100% accurate. You do not their families have their own recipes. They don't share them." And this was all they said. It was Southern barbecue style. So yeah, it was good. It was great meat, great fun.
Well, whenever I'm in the South, I never get the recipe, but I'll get a name of the sauce, because that's what I'll ask for. Like, what do you call this sauce? Like, don't tell me the recipe, because I know that's an issue. But what do you call it? It's just so I can ask for it in the future.
No, that's fine. I went to when I lived there. I probably went to at least 3, I think maybe 4 pig pickings where they they cook the whole pig in like a big barrel.
Yeah.
You line up and you pick off the parts of the meat that you want. A lot of times the families would have they would make their all of their flavoring and everything in like old milk cartons, right? Or milk jugs.
Yep.
And they would just refill them and mix them, and they'd let them sit, and like, oh man, it was just the best. Oh my gosh. I had no idea what I was missing out on. The vinaigrette style, like, anyway, so I'm getting hungry. Back to the show. So they end up like, well, how lucky, right? These guys are like, hey, you can use our Airbnb. Well, how much will it cost? Oh, it's free. It's on us. We just built it. Blah blah blah. So they get an Uber. That's it, right? Did I?
Yeah, they get an Uber from someone else, not Allie.
Yeah,
takes them to this Airbnb, which is just its own house. Like it's not Dean and Erica's place. Like it's theirs that they own, but it's just another property that they have, because in this neck of the woods,
it's nice, dude. It's not like a cabin or like a cozy house. It seems like it's like a lot of glass. It's very modern and new. Like it didn't really it seemed very odd to me that that's the design they did. But yeah, it's like
I think it could hold up to 7 people, is what they said, if I'm not mistaken. Like it was very like, oh wow, if I saw an Airbnb like this, like a house essentially to myself for a couple days in South Carolina, I'm like, yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, and it's brand new. They get in there, all the appliances stuff, stickers on it. Like it's brand, like the first one's there. And Lil Slip's like, good, I don't like knowing that someone else slept in my sheets. And so they start to get settled in. Let's see. So Sanskrit goes and takes a bath. Meanwhile, Charlie's in the back having a smoking some weed, whatever.
Yep.
There was a joke back at the restaurant about just don't. It's dark when it's dark and stuff. Don't wander in the woods because there's a lot of bears. It's bear season. So that was like a half joke, half truth. They weren't quite sure. Ha ha ha.
And there's a bottle of moonshine in the counter that says, keep it a secret.
Yes. So there is some stuff going on apparently, but nobody really has any except for Lil Slip loves that. He grabs the bottle. He's drinking it. I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to get everybody blocked out in the scene. Who else? Where's everybody else at? Who did I miss? I missed. I don't know. Where's
Isaac? Isaac is there. He's just talking. Oh yeah, he's got to wait for the status on the replacement tire. So the local auto shop doesn't have the tire, but they're overnighting the replacement tire for them. Should arrive in the morning.
So we get updated as the audience, right? We now know what the plan is, right? So okay, yeah, that's in motion. They order the tire. It'll be there the next day. I think, gosh, what's the third guy's name? I forgot his name. The guy, the foodie
that's
guy.
Mayday. Yeah.
Mayday. Yeah. What's he doing right now? I can't remember. Was he just chilling too on the couch, just hanging out?
He was just pretty much. Yeah, they'd eaten. He is kind of resting, kind of getting his stuff in order. I think he's heading to the bedroom that he's got. Because they're in this big glass house in the middle of the forest.
Yeah, and so the part that really matters at this point is Sanskrit. So she takes her bath. She gets out of the bath. She's like, getting ready for bed or whatever, and she finds something very sus in the air freshener in the bathroom. What is it?
The plug-in air freshener has a little black dot in the middle, and she recognizes how that's weird, and then she fiddles with it and pulls it out of the socket and realizes, oh, this is a wireless security camera. That just watched her take a bath.
Yeah, that's nice.
Of course, she brings us to the attention of everybody in the house, which does cause a huge ruckus. All of this arguing is happening as Charlie is kind of notices a commotion in the woods, and he heads out there to check it out. Then gets hit really hard in the back of the head with something, and he's out cold. And of course, Slip is trying to text Charlie and tell him, "Hey man, come on inside. Let's finish off this moonshine together and shoot the breeze."
Well, Slip's right around this time. Slip realizes there's something up with this drink because he's like the walls are swimming and he's like
hands are growing in size and shrinking.
Oh, it's laced. It's not just alcohol. Something's going on. So all this is happening at once. They start to tear apart the house and look for more cameras, which they find a bunch. Meanwhile, Slip's like, where's Charlie? So he goes out. I'm trying to remember exactly how this happens. He goes out to find Charlie. He's in the backyard. While he's out doing that, the rest of them are finding the cameras. And then they find a painting. And the eyeball of the dog in the painting is cut out or black. And they pull the painting down. And it's not just a camera, but it's a hole that goes, it's glass, right? That goes into a room behind the wall. And so they find a lever and it opens. And what they find in there, do you remember?
Oh, it's basically a surveillance room for the whole house.
Yep.
It's all recorded. There was somebody in there because there's a cup of hot coffee that's still steaming. So somebody managed to get out of the room at some point. Slip is able to find Charlie because he keeps calling the phone, and the phone, fortunately, is face up on the ground, and so it keeps lighting up whenever a call is made. He follows that light, and as he follows that, he sees blood on the phone. Then he follows the blood trail, and he finds Charlie kind of propped up against the tree. He's alive, but yeah, he's got a nasty gash in the side of his head. So Little Slip kind of drags his body back to the house, and
I think it was more than that. I think they described it like he'd been beaten up. So it's like after they knocked him out, whoever did that like beat the crap out of him. Oh, and pause. One more thing that happened is we did see a quick again, the way they did it when he broke into the hotel room. We see this quick like another character watching the house from an SUV, and he slips out of the SUV. He's wearing a hoodie, and we're pretty sure it's Superfan, but we don't know for sure. And then, okay, so that was kind of important. Now we're back in the house because a lot of stuff is happening. There's a lot of moving parts here over this 15-minute period.
It's a little bit of organized chaos in this area because the re-up that's in the house, they're stripping all the cameras away, and they find the surveillance room, and they're contemplating what to do next. Before they can even take action, Slip kind of bursts through from the back door with Charlie on his back, essentially, saying you got to call an ambulance because Charlie's he's breathing, but he's got an open head wound. As they make the call to the ambulance, and then they stumble onto the superfan who's in there. And
yeah, where was he hiding? I can't remember.
He was kind of hiding behind the sofa in the entertainment room.
This guy sucks at hide and seek. So they find him. They beat the crap out of him. They start to beat the crap out of him, thinking he's
behind all
the
this,
source. Yeah, he's the source of it. And then he says a bunch of I'm not what. Are you following along on page? I'm not sure what page this is.
Oh, I think one of the pages is like mid-40s. But yeah,
he's got some funny dialogue. And because he's just a weirdo, right? He's so passive. Even when they're beating the crap out of him, he's like, "It's okay." I feel he almost says like, "It's okay. I'd do the same if I was you. I'd do the same." But don't. I'm not weird. I promise. I'm cool. I'm your biggest fan. Like, he's so weird.
Well, he apologizes. He says, "Listen, I came here because I followed you and stalked you all the way to this town because I wanted to apologize for it." Like encroaching normal on your personal space is like that. I mean, I will say this. It's an interesting character where all this guy is doing is just admitting to things that make every situation he's in much worse than it actually is. Or
how did you like the line? How did you like the line where he's like, "I'm just a normal guy. I live with my mom and my son," or something like that?
Yeah, like he lives with his mom and his son, but his
grandmother and his son. I think
grandmother and his son, and it's like, well, wait a minute. So does he have a kid, or is it the grandmother and her son? So it's his dad and his grandmother. That's like I don't know the dynamic here.
Yeah.
All I know is that this guy has way too much time on his hands. He also has some cash, like some really good cash, because the SUV that he drives is actually a really tricked out car.
It's a Lamborghini SUV. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, it's a Lamborghini SUV. They're very pricey. So yeah, because when they finally like move away from the house, they figure because they don't have a car, right? They've got to get Charlie to the hospital.
Ambulance hasn't shown up yet, and
yeah, and so Superfan's like, I got a car, and so they're like, okay. So they end up, well, this is what we got to do, right? So for whatever reason, they let him drive his own car. And they put Charlie in the back, and I just imagine because they describe Charlie as a huge guy, so
he's an ex-football player, so he's got to be at least like 6 feet, 300 pounds.
Yeah, and if you've ever tried to move somebody who plays limp, like if that's their defense mechanism, like I have siblings, right? And that's the worst thing ever. They're bigger than you, and they just go limp like sack potatoes. You can't move them. It's so hard.
You have to get their arms around your shoulders. And basically, your entire back is holding up their chest. That's the only way you can move.
Or you let the ground carry half their weight and you drag them wherever you're going. So Lil Slip getting him in the house during the rainstorm was pretty impressive. But anyways, they get him in the back. Of course, Superfan's still gonna Superfan, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, check this out." And he reaches in the glove compartment, pulls out a freaking like a 9mm gun, and he's like, "I was so motivated by this such and such song that I bought this and blah blah blah." And he just keeps talking. Isaac looks at him and he's like, "You put that shit away right now."
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, "Oh yeah, sorry, forgot."
And then he realizes like, "Oh yeah, this looks bad. I'll put that away." Like he's not violent at all. He's just like he really is this weird fan.
But he does call himself an idiot and starts smacking his head against the steering wheel like a very disturbed person.
Yes, he's like okay, I shouldn't have done that. I'm an idiot. And then he hits his head in the steering wheel, and then he does it a second time, and he might have even done a third, and they're like, knock it off. Because he's driving while he's doing this. It's nighttime. Yeah. There's a storm. They're on these back roads. And then they're in the middle of them talking, and he's starting to calm down. He's like, he's okay now. And then suddenly, boom, headlights right in their face.
Yep.
And they get run off the road, right?
They get run off the road, and while I was reading this, I was thinking like, okay, if they're sticking with the horror thing, this is all right. But if they made this a comedy, and they made it in like '93, Chris Farley would have been a great Superfan, because he's saying creepy stuff, but this guy could sell it to the point where you'd be laughing every time he says it.
I'm such an idiot.
Yeah, and then he's just like smacking his head off the steering wheel. It's like, you're driving. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry, guy. And then, because again, Chris Farley had that ability to go from being obnoxious to incredibly endearing on the turn of on a dime.
Yeah, the drop of a hat, dude. Yeah, he was he just, oh my god, dude, he could.
Because I mean,
he
that
just loved
that
his
monologue
face and his mannerisms.
the monologue he says, he pulls out the Glock 9. He's like, "Yeah, check this out. You inspired me to stay strapped after hearing Lurk. I got a Draco back home, but this here, my ride or die."
Yeah, that's you found this. You found the line. Yeah, ride or die. And I was like, dude, this guy, because he is white. They describe him as white when you first meet him.
But it's like,
so he's just this white dude, super fan, talking like a thug and
He's like, even has a sight beam. Roll up and murk him. You know, you can definitely hear Chris Farley doing that type of voice.
Oh, dude, that's so good. Yeah, I could see this whole script very easily being just slightly massaged into a comedy, dude. It could totally happen. It would be like a modern day Clue, right? It'd be like, this is just all these random people doing random crap. So yeah. Anyway, it's good. So they get ran off the road. It's not funny, you guys. It's not funny. This is serious. And the car rolls several times. This poor Lamborghini gets totaled. But
it does land right side up, which is good for the passengers inside. However, Superfan has been punctured through the chest by a tree branch that went through the windshield.
Classic.
He's dead. He is dead. However, everybody else is alive. Charlie is a little he's conscious, discombobulated, kind of slipping in and out, can't say anything. And then all of a sudden, the ambulance shows up, and it stops.
Yeah, we see the emergency lights up on the top of the ridge that they roll down, and the two guys just described as what, like paramedic 1 and paramedic 2. They don't even have names or anything. They come down and they're like, what's going on? Is everybody okay? And meanwhile, is this around the time? Oh no, that happened. We'll get to that. So they come down and they're like, hey, save Charlie. He's the one that's messed up. The other guy's dead. They verify that Superfan's dead. And they all work their way back up to the ambulance. And the paramedics had a few questions. I don't think it's anything important really for the plot, right? That they asked about. They get into the ambulance and they're on their way down the road, but no lights and no sirens.
Right.
So kind of sus right then. As soon as you hear that in the script, you're like, wait, what? Why? So, but meanwhile, they're kind of distracted because think about everything they're going through, right? So they're having a powwow in the back of the ambulance. They're like, well, but what about this? What about that? And one of the things that they were talking about was Isaac is the manager's gonna manage no matter where you are.
Yeah.
So do you remember what Isaac brought up when he was like, he's worried about how they're gonna spin all this, right?
Isaac is like, we gotta get our story straight. It's like, what story? They did nothing wrong. It's like, yeah, but it's optics. It's all optics.
It's all optics. It doesn't matter what's true. It's all optics. So yeah, he's already like 5 steps ahead, trying to figure out what he's gonna say when they get interviewed. On the next, I don't know, The View or something.
Well, they're definitely have to file a police report or be part of one, and it's definitely going to go into controversy. And Isaac's like, I'm going to figure out a way to spin this so that you guys come out as heroes.
And meanwhile, Lil Slip's like, just tell the damn truth.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, we can't do that. That won't work. So after a while, they kind of figure out, like, we're not moving that fast. There's no sirens. And so they bang on the wall to the drivers. And they don't respond, so they bang harder, and they're like, there's no way they didn't hear that. And they're like, what's going on? So they try the back door, and it's locked as well. Dun, dun, dun. So what do we do? What's going to happen?
They're stuck in there for a few more minutes until the ambulance finally pulls up to a stop. The rear doors open up, and it is the entire town before them wearing creepy plain white masks. Like, just
are these like what are they called? Guy Fieri masks? Or
Guy Fieri mask would be different. Guy Fawkes mask is what's normally done, but a Guy Fieri
that's what
mask.
I'm thinking.
Oh gosh, if someone out there can make a Guy Fieri mask that looks like a Guy Fawkes mask, that's $1 million right there.
Please do it. Oh my God, dude, that was a good slip on my part. Yes, Guy Fawkes,
Guy Fieri mask. Give me a Guy Fieri mask.
Oh my God, I'm gonna look that up now. I'm gonna start working on it. I just got my 3D printer, dude. I'm gonna make one. It's gonna happen. It is so gonna happen. But whatever. They're like just plain white masks. At first, I thought of COVID masks because, damn it, that's stuck in my brain because of what we all went through.
Yep.
But no, they were like full covered white masks. So now it's like getting into like Children of the Corn territory when those ambulance doors open. I'm like, what is happening? Right? This is like a Stephen King flick at this point. So, what happens next then?
Well, I mean, Slip tries to like burst through the other side of the ambulance to save himself, but clearly does not work out because there's nowhere to go. But these the town folks all grab each member and then inject a sedative into each of them, and they are completely knocked out. And a few hours later, they come to inside town hall. So it's your traditional type of town hall. You've probably seen it on like Yellowstone or any other type of evening drama. And they're all strapped to chairs, tied with like zip ties and rope. And various townspeople take their turn coming up and slapping or punching or beating in some way or form one member of each of this group of re-up. And they are unapologetic about it.
Yeah, and they say stuff, and there's a guy that's leading, right? That they say that with the tall guy, the tall masked man.
There's a tall masked man who's the chef, who's known as the chef.
Quotes a scripture.
Well, no, the elderly man quotes scripture, so I think he's supposed to be the pastor of the place.
Oh, okay.
Because it's only the elderly man, only the elderly masked man. Like they're all masked to this, so we don't know their names. Just know tall, elderly, fat, slimy. Those types of adjectives are used for them. And so the elderly man is clearly the parish leader, the priest, the pastor, and he's the one quoting scripture. Everyone else is doing their own thing. In fact, this one character who's known as the heavy-set masked man, and heavy-set masked woman, and her husband, a Hispanic masked man with gelled hair. And the heavy-set masked woman quotes the lyrics back to Re-Up. And the lyrics are like, tied to a chair, S&M, melt you like M&Ms, I'm your Candyman, Pennywise, your brains in a sewer, Freddy Krueger, your ass in a Jason mask, nightmare for days, no bodily remains, dogs searching for days. It reads like nonsense to me. But
sounds like most hip hop I hear.
Most current day hip hop,
and then she turned her wedding ring into her hand. She spins it
so
around
like the diamonds on the inside, and then she slaps.
Yeah. So they basically, they all get their time in the barrel, as it were, metaphorically, and they get the crap kicked out of them by all these different people.
And then the creepy part, this one guy, I think it's the tall guy, a stocky man, takes out a cigar cutter, and of course snips off little Slip's pinky finger. Yeah, with this huge ring that had actually been established in the opening, not the opening shot, but the opening scene of the film when he was on stage. He had this huge ring, this huge finger or ring on his finger. So that's now on the floor, and then it cuts ahead, right? And then it's like they're left alone. It cuts ahead to the town having to take a break.
Something. They're like left. So our rappers are all left alone.
Charlie
in this
comes
dark
to
room. Charlie comes to, and they're all strapped to their chairs, and it's really quiet. And then we see Charlie, who, despite everything he's actually suffered probably more than all of them. He figures out he sees some glass on the ground. He falls over, and uses the glass to cut through his tie. Finally gets free, and frees everybody else.
And they start searching around for an exit, and as they get to this one end of the town hall, they realize everybody's in there. They're taking a lunch and drink, still holding their masks over their faces, so we still don't see what they look like underneath, but they realize, oh, we're surrounded. Like they didn't give up and say that's the end of it. They're on a respite. And so they're trying,
halftime, baby.
They're scouring around. They're scouring around looking for what to do. They decide, let's head back to the main hall because they left some weapons there. They left like a golf club. There's some broken glass and then that's like, we need this to defend ourselves. And of course, Slip, he's not interested in a weapon. He's looking for his finger because he wants that back. And it's like, there's everybody else is saying there's really not enough time for that. Just grab something to defend yourself and let's see what we can get out of here.
But to his defense, I'd probably be that guy. I'm not. I mean, it's a part of my body, right? I'm gonna be like, dude, just put it in my pocket. If there's a chance I can have it back, let's take it with us. It's not like I'm asking you to like push a car or something. It's just a finger. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
So
and you know what's crazy is like I've had an injury where I crushed a part of my finger pretty badly. Didn't break the bone, but like all of the flesh was like mangled. And my doctor's like, well, we could cut it off, but we don't need to. All we have to do is wrap it up really well. And it was like going black. He's like, that's okay. Like wrap it up really well. Keep it into like lots of moisture and stuff. Keep it away from anything to get any infection. And within a month, it'll be back to normal color. And he was right. It was the creepiest thing I had ever seen, because I'm like, oh, I just crushed a part of all the flesh off my finger, and it's turning purple and now black, and it looks like it's going to be dead. And he's like, nah, you'll be fine.
That's cool. So he
Yeah.
had enough experience to know that it was going to come. It was going to recover. That's good.
Yeah.
I never had that happen to one of my fingers, but when I was a kid, I was like 8 maybe, and my neighbor, who was like 6 years older than me, so he was like 14 or somewhere around there, and he was when you're that age and someone seems so much older, right?
Yeah.
When you're that age, like, oh, he's way older. Well, he had been working for months to build a remote control airplane with his dad. Right. So this was back when you had to make them everything out of the balsa wood, whatever it is. And you had to wrap them in you had to have an iron to wrap the skin around them and all that stuff. It was like a whole ordeal to make a plane, right? It took forever.
Right.
And they did all that. And I saw him one day and he was driving it around the front yard on the ground. Right. And it was really loud. So I run over there. I was like, oh, that's cool. Well, then the next day he comes over and rings the doorbell and his whole hand is wrapped up in bandages. And he's like, you're not going to believe what happened. And I'm like, what happened? He's like, well, I cut my finger really bad on the propeller of my airplane. And on those planes, I'm not sure if it's the same on current planes, but you have to start them. You have to get pretty close to the prop, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to put some fuel in them and then kind of give them a jump start. And when he did that, his dad wasn't watching. I think he was off on his own doing it or whatever. But yeah, as it started, his finger was right there, and that prop struck his finger several times as it started.
Just chewed it up.
So here's the worst part. So he's like, you want to see? And I was like, not really. He's like, come on, I'll show you. And he unwrapped the bandages. He just had this done earlier that day or the day before, whatever it was. So within 24 hours. And they'd put a pin through his whole freaking finger, dude. And they'd kind of wrapped all the meat back together for it to heal up, right?
Yeah.
So when you described that, I remember this kid's name was Rodney. I remember Rodney's finger in my face, and almost puking. I'm like, like this metal pin coming out of the tip of his finger, like E.T. was gonna touch it, right? And I'm just like, yeah. So it's amazing what fingers can survive, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, I learned that because I crushed mine using chain pliers, and chain pliers are very easy to crush your fingers on because they work backwards to scissors, and if you don't do it just right, yeah.
How old were you when you did that?
I was 27, 28. Yeah.
Okay, so you weren't no spring chicken then.
No. But yeah, I was a little bit worried because it's well, I do type for a living. I kind of need every finger I got.
Important.
He's like, yeah, don't worry, you'll be fine. And I'm like, but it's black. He's like, yeah, it's okay. Listen, all of that's just dead flesh on the outside. The flesh underneath is still alive. It will heal, and he was right.
So does it have some wicked scars? Do you show people? You're like, look at my finger.
I have no scars on the finger, but I do have a scar in my hand where a knife went through it when I was a teenager.
Man, we gotta do an episode where we just talk about wounds. We gotta do
crazy wounds, yeah.
So Little Slip lost his whole pinky finger. Poor guy. He really needs it to wrap well,
or hold the mic better,
But it's perfect when you want to drop the mic.
Oh, absolutely. Makes it far
funny.
more effective to drop those hands.
So they back to the story. So they hear a toilet flush, right? And they're like, okay, we can't go that direction. Somebody's that way. Well, then they rush back to their seats, and then whoever made the noise doesn't come in the room. And then they're like, okay, we got to get out of here. We got to go the other direction, right? So then what do they do to get out of the building? First of all, where's the town at? Where's everybody at? And how do they get out?
Most of the town is in this break room kitchen thing, having a snack and some drinks. The rest are kind of outside, sort of watching the building. And these guys in the town hall are just going through any door they can, hoping that there's no one on the other side of it, until they find a stairway that goes up, and it goes to another floor. And on that other floor, there's a window that overlooks an empty part of the field and into the forest. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is the only part of the building that's not being covered. This is our way out. Yeah, it's a one-story drop, but they could probably survive it. So as they kind of make their way out there, the townsfolk realize that those re-up is not in the main town hall anymore, and they do a wide search of the building, and Charlie decides to do the heroic thing and say, I'll watch the stairs, you guys get to safety. And he fights a couple of them up there until he manages to knock them down, and then he heads towards the window, and then we hear a gunshot, and Charlie's dead body just drops right to the ground in front of the rest of re-up that's picking themselves up from the fall. And Charlie, sadly, is out of the picture now. And my heart kind of broke a little bit because I liked Charlie. He was He was the most earnest one there.
He was a stand-up dude. Like, yeah, we don't. He didn't really have any major flaws to make you dislike him, and he was tough as nails, man. So yeah, you always hate to see those characters go down. So
yeah, like he took out, I think, he took out one of the townspeople like with a gun. Like he managed to grab the gun, shoot him. He dropped the gun when he's scuffling this other guy. That guy gets knocked out, or so we think. And as soon as he gets to the window, that other townsperson with the mask picks up the gun and then just takes him out in the back. Everybody is in the middle of the night scouring through the field trying to hide in the forest when a bunch of floodlights turn on, and there's this very expensive looking tractor with like a Mercedes engine in it that just barrels down on them, and they activates the grinders on the front to chop up all the grass and tree bits and everything. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, growing up in the potato fields of Idaho, like I did, hearing about a tractor that's like menacingly fast is just hilarious to me. But yeah, if a tractor does manage to catch you, you're in trouble. But they are not nimble by any means. So yeah, and then we're about to get a revisit from one of our characters that we both liked. Pretty soon. We're
getting pretty close there, because right now they're in the field, they're trying to get away. Yeah. What gets creepy is that the masked farmer that's in the tractor decides to kill the headlights, so you can just hear it. And because it's a Mercedes engine, it's a little soft, so you just hear mostly the grinding of the blades and the front of the tractor. Very. And they are in pitch black, so they're kind of making their way around until all of a sudden the lights reactivate, and they find out that, they've been walking towards the tractor this entire time, and now it's barreling down on them. And everybody kind of scatters around. Mayday goes in one direction, but he sees that Sanskrit is hurting and is unable to kind of like keep up with the rest. But he finds some rocks, and he picks them up, and he starts hurling them at the tractor and at the driver. And he misses like 3 or 4 times until he finally gets him into the side of the head. And that knocks the driver out of the tractor, and the tractor immediately stops and shuts down a couple of feet away from Sanskrit from getting chewed up by the blades. And this is where they kind of crawl through the forest, finally in a little bit of safety, but they have to figure out a way to get out of the city. And so this is where like they kind of wander into an abandoned farmhouse. They go into like the cellar part there, and this is where we get some more dark stuff, because when we jump back a little bit, while they're getting tortured, one in particular masked person shows them their phone, a picture to Mayday specifically. We don't see what Mayday sees, but Mayday gets sick to his stomach and starts to cry a little bit, and Mayday finally reveals to us like what he saw, and he just says Darnell's dead. And Lil Slip and Sanskrit and Isaac are shocked. Like, how could he be dead? He was sick. We spoke to him on FaceTime. He's like, no, man. They showed me a picture of him. He's dead. They sliced up his body, and they served it to us at that barbecue earlier today. And everybody is, like, dry heaving.
So brutal. So gross, dude. So that was the secret ingredient we didn't know about. There's that one thing you couldn't quite figure out on the flavor, man. So that was funny. That was a fun little twist that, hey, you ate your friend, right?
It's one of many things that this script does that really kind of throws you off.
Yeah. So, so I'm thinking at this point when in the story, I'm like, again, you could see how close this could come to comedy, right?
Yeah.
Dark comedy, and so. It's funny to reread it. As we go back, we read it and then we go back over it. And when we were talking about that scene with the barbecue thing, it just shined a whole new light on that whole scene with the waitress and everything that was going on. And it makes you really wonder, like, how many is everyone in the town in on this? Because we know there's no kids, right? So the kids are definitely not part of whatever's happening at the town hall. So it's not like totally evil where they're all like aliens or zombies or some weird cult thing, right? Like,
so, and it's not a sinners thing either. Like, that's the other part. It's not like that.
So we're really, and at this point it's good because you're like, what is happening? Why? What is the motive of these people? And you can't quite figure it out. And by today's standards, where everything's just redone or rehacked or something, it was kind of refreshing to be like, it's still in the dark, right? Like, what is going on? So yeah, so I'm liking the script at this point so far, and I'm guessing you do too, right? So far, so
Well,
judging by
I'll say this: like the characters are pretty. I mean, the characters are archetypical. Like you've got the snarky lead band member, who's all in it for himself. You got Mayday, who he's more of the passive foodie guy, but this is pushing him to the point where he's like, I'm out of everybody here, I've got the most to live for because I've got a kid on the way, and I am not losing my life for dumb decisions that are not going to be properly taken into consideration.
And Mayday. Side note: Mayday did kill that guy driving the tractor. Like he fell off, and then he told him he said "F you," and the guy and Mayday's like "No F you," and he grabbed a big rock and hit him in the chest and killed him. So Mayday is like, but then right after that, he's not just some cold-blooded murder. Where was it? Page 66,
66 or 67.
And, and then he asked Isaac. Isaac's like, I didn't know you had that in you. And Mayday's like, I won't go to jail, right? Like he instantly is like, not like he feels guilty he murdered someone. His first concern is, wait, am I going to jail? And then Sanskrit replies, nope, but you're going straight to the Savage Hall of Fame. I mean, given what they've been through, I think that the people that have captured them have proven that murder is definitely not off the table. So for them to defend themselves, they're in a bad spot. So I'm not judging anybody at this point.
No, and this is the one where like Mayday kind of vacillates between being his passive self and then being really aggressive in that he doesn't want to leave his kid without a father. He wants to get back to his wife. And
He's a good dude.
He doesn't want to take Lil Slip's BS and Isaac's BS especially.
Well, and we saw that, remember, earlier, because when they're on the bus, he approached Lil Slip about some new beats and stuff he wanted to run by him, and Lil Slip was playing Call of Duty. And he was very passive. He's like, I'm busy right now, I'm playing the game or whatever. And he's like, yeah, no biggie, it's fine. We'll just, when you get a chance, I want you to check him out. And then Sanskrit kind of mocked him for it. She's like, what are you doing? We're a team. We're all together. And he was just like, no, it's okay. Get to it when you can. And so there's a bit of an arc here I'm seeing now that we're talking about it with Mayday, dude. Like where he's went from being kind of passive sideline guy to like stepping up. And so yeah, in fact, I don't know. I'd say of all our characters, I think there's not a lot of character arcs in this whole story in general, which I guess is standard for horror genre, right? Maybe your main character overcomes the odds of evil and is now stronger because of it. I'm thinking of Ash in the Evil Dead, but but this is I like Mayday. I like it. We're talking more about Mayday.
Mayday has more prominent presence here. I mean, Lil Slip is completely written as the focal point of this story.
No connection to him at all, though. I don't really care about Lil Slip.
Well, yeah, he has the most change to do. Mayday does some pretty significant change earlier on, and this is like really their do or die moment, because this is their mid-act turning point where stuff has gotten really bad. They've lost Darnell, they've lost Charlie. It's just Isaac, Sanskrit, Mayday, and Lil Slip left to fend for themselves against a whole town that clearly got a sale on plain white masks because they all have the same one. And they're just going after them. And while they're hiding in this little barn here, they're trying to find some weapons. The only thing they find is a pitchfork. And their goal is, well, we know that there's a gas station like not too far from here. Let's just hunker out in front of the gas station, wait for a car to pull up, and we'll just jack the car and drive the hell out of here and deal with the consequences later.
Yeah.
And that's their plan. So here's the part that did bother me a little bit. They're inside this barn. They're not too far away from the town hall that they just escaped. But they went into the cellar of the barn, and I'm wondering, did they leave through the same way that they entered in? Because if they did, there might be people around them, like nearby, that could see them. But we don't get that. We just cut straight out of that. We're asked to suspend our disbelief that they got back out. They got out of this barn house. They're at the edge of the field, looking over a gas station where there's just like a teenage clerk on his iPhone manning the counter. And then a Tesla pulls up to the gas station, which is odd because why would a Tesla go to a gas station and not a recharge port?
Hey. I'm a Tesla owner, and sometimes we need snacks, okay?
That's exactly the reason, because the person that gets out of the Tesla is Allie, who we saw earlier in Act 1. And, she heads inside the shop to get something to drink, it looks like.
Quick note, we didn't talk about this. Back when they first met, did you like how Allie just was like, did not care about Lil Slip coming on to her at all? She was just like, eh.
Yeah, she was completely like kind of deflecting his advances.
Yeah. yeah, and then the other two in the back were like of course they've seen him run his game a bunch of times, and they were kind of like making fun of him. But they didn't need to do that. Like she was just not interested in him at all. And I thought that was a nice touch that she was like, "You guys are awesome. You're a great band." You'd think she'd be all totally like, stars and
Ready
rise,
to
and
like
instead
drop
she
her
was just
pants
like,
and go like, "Hey, let's have some fun." Like, no,
yeah, but that's not it at all. So I think that's part of her. Like this whole town is like they have some ethics, right? They're not like what so many people would be like. She's like, no, I'm not. I don't see you that way. I love your music. That doesn't mean I know you at all, right? Like I'm gonna.
Right.
Anyway, I just thought it was interesting as a character, and I didn't think we'd see her again. Did you? I never thought we'd see her again in the script.
I didn't think we'd see her again either. I thought it was just going to be like, oh, that one passing through person, kind of like in the cliche horror films where you get that one guy is like, you don't want to go through that town. Like, that's what Allie's kind of saying here.
The what do they call that? The harbinger.
The harbinger, or the old prospector who just happens to be like working the shop that day. He's like, you just get your gear, you get your fishing tackle, your snacks, and then you just turn around and head back. I don't want you kids getting in any trouble.
Nobody stays there when the sun goes down. You make sure you're back here before the sun goes down.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So so now we're back with her at the gas station, and what happens next?
Well, what's funny is that Lil Slip just starts whistling at her to get her attention, and she approaches the brush where he's there, and she is freaked out by the condition of Re-Up, because they are like, Lil Slip's got a black eye, swollen eye, can barely see out of it. He's bleeding all over his face. He's missing a finger. Mayday is cut and bleeding, and Sanskrit is bleeding from her side so bad that she's losing consciousness. And so, yeah, they're like, she's freaking out, but Lil Slip is using his charm to say, please help us. Just all we need to do is just get somewhere where we can kind of like clean ourselves up, get ourselves patched up for a bit, then get to like a hospital or someplace outside of this town, because they are being hunted. And Allie, does a double take, gets back into her car, and you think she's about to drive off, but she ends up looping around and opens the rear side door of her Tesla to let the Re-Up go in, and she takes him to her place, which is this really nice house on a property that's massive. And you get the idea that like everybody in this town, whether they're well off or not, like their dollar goes way further here than it would anywhere else in America. And so, yeah, they go into her house. Like, she parks a Tesla. They go inside. They start cleaning. They go like to respective washrooms and clean up their wounds and bandages. Allie helps with a towel and some gauze, patch up Sanskrit. And she's like, I'll go to the medicine cabinet, see if I can find some painkillers, probably maybe Tylenol or something. Of course, Little Sip is like, hey, give me as much Percocet as you can. It's like, I don't know if we got that. While everybody's kind of like having their very first respite in a while, Sanskrit goes to the kitchen and just starts pouring herself glasses of water from the tap. And as she's drinking it, she catches a newspaper clipping that's on the fridge. And the newspaper clipping has a picture of Allie, who's a little bit younger, and she's standing next to her sister, who is about a year or two older, who's gorgeous and a cheerleading captain. And the article is about how the group, her sister and a whole bunch of her friends, died in a bus accident when they were heading over to this Ridge Fest festival that Re-Up was headlining a year before. And that is where we figure out why the town is upset with the band or with the group, because all of their kids got into this horrible bus accident to go to see their show, and they feel that Re-Upper's responsible and they want the revenge. They want more than a pound of flesh. Mm-hmm. And that just freaks Sanskrit out, because as she's looking around the kitchen and also parts of the living room, she sees some photos and she recognizes, well, we as the audience would recognize, I don't think she recognizes it, but we as the audience recognize that the Hispanic guy, masked Hispanic man with the gelled hair, and his wife, the fat woman, are Allie's parents, who have lost their oldest daughter and are blaming the band for it. And she is freaking out. And she gets caught by Allie. And Sanskrit does not do a good job hiding that she knows that Allie's parents and is kind of involved in what's going on with the town. And this causes a switch to flip in Allie. And those two just start fighting in the middle of the kitchen. And it's a gruesome fight. Like, there's a kitchen knife is taken out of the kitchen block. and there's swiping and slashing and stabbing in the air, trying to get at each other and tearing of the hair. And eventually, Sanskrit manages to get behind Allie and just start smashing her face into the corner of the counter until Allie is dead. And everybody else, hearing the commotion, kind of rushes into the kitchen, sees Allie is dead. Her face is split in half, kind of like when you open up a book. And then you put it on its spine. I just did a better job describing it than the script did there. But that pretty much what's going on. Of course, Lil Slip and Isaac are freaking out. It's like, why did you kill her? She's like, and of course Sanskrit is saying she was in on it. She came after me. I had no choice. We got to get out of here. Isaac formulates the plan. He says, okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to get her phone. You're going to try and unlock it so that we can get on the Tesla. I'm going to look for the other means to get operate the Tesla, the keys or the key fob or what have you. And then we are going to take that car and get the heck out of Dodge. So this is where Mayday and Sanskrit have to push both sides of Allie's face together and hold it in place as symmetrical as possible to unlock the phone. Now,
so the Face ID works.
Now, I'll say this. This is a visual gimmick that would sell this movie. Like, you can't put it in the trailer at all.
Right. Of course not. Yeah.
But you can... but like it is that one type of scene where people say, oh man, there's a scene where they have to like get this dead body to unlock a phone and her face has been smashed in, and that's all I'm going to tell you, because how they do it and what they have to do, you got to see it to believe it.
So gross, man.
It would be pretty gross.
It would become known as that movie. It would become known as that movie just because of that one scene. And that's what happens with some of these films. So yeah, you're right. It would become known as that. People, you got to see it just for this, right?
Just for that one scene, you got to see it.
Yeah. Okay, but you want to leave it? You want to leave it there?
Well, no, we're gonna go one more beat because it's a really important beat. So while Mayday and Sanskrit are trying to unlock this phone, Isaac has found the key fob for the Tesla. And he's saying, okay, Slip, get in the car. I'm going to start. You get in the car. I'm going to go get Sanskrit and Mayday so that we can get out of here. So Lil Slip gets into the Tesla. His side door locks, and then all of a sudden the passenger opens up. Isaac gets inside, and he just starts driving away. And Lil Slip is freaking out because he's like, wait, we can't leave Sanskrit and Mayday. And Isaac goes into this monologue saying, they're dead weight. You don't need them. You're the star. I've done everything for you. This is how it's going to be. I'm going to make you both the hero and the victim because people love that. And I am always looking out for you. And I know, you know how I can prove I'm looking out for you? He reaches into his pocket. He pulls out Little Slip's finger, pinky finger, with the ring still on it, that he has wrapped up into some gauze. And he puts it into the cup holder. He's like, I saved your finger. You know for sure I'm going to save you. And Lil Slip can't do anything. And of course he's yelling at Isaac. He's telling him like, I can't leave them. This is not right. And while these two are bickering back and forth, a roadblock has been put up by the townsfolk. They then start shooting rounds into the Tesla. Lil Slip takes cover. Isaac is shot in the head, and then the Tesla crashes into the roadblock. And that is where we're going to cut it off there, because while Isaac is part of a car accident here, another group of the townsfolk are closing in on Allie's house, and Mayday and Sanskrit have realized that Lil Slip and Isaac have taken off, leaving them alone, and they are now surrounded. And from there on in, like, that's where we have to call it for spoilers, because the next 20 pages-ish is a pretty interesting climax. And it's got even some more gross stuff going on in there as well. So TJ,
yeah.
What additional thoughts do you have about this script, Detour, by Will Wider?
I will be honest, like I always am on this. I at first, when I first started reading this, 5 pages in, I'm like, this is not my type of show. But like every other script that I've read that I am not a big fan of the genre, I approach it the way I did in like some of my film courses in college, which is set aside your own personal preferences and go into this as open-mindedly as possible and just judge it for what it is, right? And that I learned that in college, because had I not learned how to do that, I looking back, I would have missed out on some amazing films, right? And some amazing experiences. Oh, it's black and white. I don't like that. Oh, it's got subtitles. I don't like that. I'm not going to watch that, right? Things like that. And so I learned a long time ago, and I think that comes with just experience and maturity. And so I was like, no, I'm gonna give this a fair shake and see where this goes. That doesn't mean that if it's bad, I'm not gonna sugar, or that I will sugarcoat it. You know what I mean? I think that for this type of a movie, I think it was good. I don't think it was spectacular. I think it had moments that were really fun. It surprised me. The foreshadowing that was there wasn't so on the nose that it hit me in the head, and I'm like, oh, there's a foreshadow. Yeah. There were things, like I told you, about the sword. When he's like, I'm going to keep this sword. I'm like, oh, is that going to come back later? When we hear about little Slip.
Yeah.
Little Slip. I was want to call Slim like Slim Jim.
Yeah.
Little Slip, when he was talking about how he tells the group on the bus, he says, yeah, you guys don't ever listen to me, but I tell you that I go to a shooting range at every city that we go to. Now, that seems extremely far-fetched to me when you're on tour, that you're going to go take several hours and go find a local gun range and go shoot, right? But that did come in later, because we see how good he is with the gun, right? So, so what I'm saying is, especially in a thriller like this, a lot of foreshadowing now is so heavy-handed. It's just stupid. I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, we'll be seeing that later. And so, but I didn't feel that here. I felt like, no, in hindsight, okay, yeah, that was foreshadowing. Oh, when the waitress was like, oh, when he's trying to figure out for sure what the flavors are in the meat, right? I'm like, oh yeah, that's hilarious, right? Oh, there's something that you're tasting there. It's probably somebody who drove your bus for a while. So stuff like that. It's good. This is clever. It's fun. It's refreshing. It's not groundbreaking in any way, but it's recreating. It's reusing the ingredients of a thriller. It's not really horror. I don't know what you would call this. Like, what would you call it? Suspenseful thriller?
It's kind of like it's more like a suspenseful thriller, survival type of deal.
Yeah. It's got all the it's like Taco Bell, right? Like, they can make 15 different types of things with the same ingredients.
Yeah, and with meat, cheese, tomato, tortilla chips.
But if you do it well, it's good, and you'll get customers, and they'll eat it, and they'll enjoy it. They'll say, hey, it's pretty good, and they'll tell their friends, hey, go try this, right? And I think that's what this is, and I think you really nailed it on the head with the kitchen scene with Abby.
With Allie, yeah. That thing Allie, there.
Like, that is horrible. It's graphic. It's disgusting. It's everything I don't like. That's why I don't like big grotesque films like this, like Saw and stuff. Like, I just don't like movies for the sake of being gross. That's not what this is. But I'm just telling you, that's why I don't like those movies. And this scene was very gory. But it's also, but that's who your audience is, right? They're going to go tell their friends and be like, dude, this scene is nuts. And everything else around it is good. The characters are all pretty good. Nothing super cliche. The writing's well. I think it could be sped up a little bit. I think maybe the pacing's a little slow, but it would all come down to actually how you film it. On the script, this was 102 pages, 104 is just over 100 pages, I think.
Yeah, it's but 103. Yeah, 103, 104, 104. Yeah.
So how is that? Is that on par for this type of film? Is that normal for a script, or is it a little long?
I mean, I would say it's just over 90 minutes on average, because again, there are some dense portions of the script which are, I would say, are a little bit overwritten with regards to their action set piece, but it works, and it's not going to take up that much time. And the other part too is, like, it's trying to be pretty sensational, and I think it's doing an okay job being sensational at it. Because like, again, these characters, they start off as boilerplate. They get a little bit more interesting. They have a little bit more change. I will say it does have a slight flaw with Lil Slip, and that is there's a lot of attention put onto him, but also very little overall growth until towards the third act. And it comes so fast that it doesn't feel as natural as the changes that we get, from Mayday, and the little bit of the changes that we get from Sanskrit.
I would agree with that, because of the way we get the epilogue in this at the very end. We're not going to spoil anything. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. It does feel very rushed for him. There is some arc, but it's like it shoots up at the very end. And so it doesn't feel. And what would have been nice to see that, because then you care more, right? You got to care about these characters when they're getting the crap kicked out of them. And so,
And you just kind of feel like, Lil Slip kind of deserves this as he's getting beaten
exactly.
up.
That's what I was about to say. They also have to be more. You have to be more empathetic towards them. And I was so indifferent. I didn't hate him, but I just didn't care. Right.
Right.
And that's always sad when a writer in any story fails at making you connect with the character and then wipes them off the face of the planet or tortures them to such a degree that it should be horrific. And you're just over there eating popcorn, like, yeah, so you know what I mean? You have to do that. And so a great example that did it very well is Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
I cared about pretty much everybody in there, even the ones that not that I would like them as a human being, like, or they wouldn't be my friends in real life, but when all that stuff happened to everyone in that movie, I cared about it. I was like, oh, that's horrible. I feel so bad for them, right? And you didn't have a lot of time to bond with them. But for whatever reason, Lil Slip in this, like, he needs to be rewritten a little bit in a way that you connect with him more. Maybe give us some backstory, show us what he grew up, what happened to him as a kid, something that we can connect more. But yeah, in general, I thought this was a solid script. In fact, I liked it more going through it with you than I did reading it the first time, if that makes any sense. I think it's the only script that I can say that about that I've done with you. I like it more now that we've dived into it at this level.
Yeah, because we kind of dove a bit more in and were able to step a little bit back from it. Because I mean, when I read this script, it felt to me, like, okay, you're dropping in other movie references and stuff. Come on, man, your imagination's got to be better than that. And fortunately, with the horrible things that happen to these characters, I'm like, that's pretty imaginative.
It kept
like,
guessing,
that's where this guy's specialty is. That's where I would say, okay, this guy. So I just did a quick search and I was able to get it. So his name is Will Wider. There's no G in there, but neither that's a spelling mistake on one of the transcripts I got, or maybe I flubbed it up. But whatever it was, like, when it comes to like some of the twists, some of the gross things that he has set up and pays off with, he's got a talent for it there, which is why I can see why this got within the top 40 out of like nearly 80 scripts for the blacklist. I will say, like, he does have some parts that are a bit overwritten. He does know how to do good setups and payoffs. While his characters start off pretty strong as archetypes, they do have a distinct voice. Like, I was never confused as to who was talking during the script.
Yes.
Like, that's one of the things I've been so happy about with this season of the show is that, unlike the previous season, there's a couple of scripts we got where it felt like all one voice all the way through. This year, way more. I can barely think of a script that we've done this year so far where it felt like it was just the same person talking to themselves throughout the entirety of the story. So that's been like a great benefit for this season. And Will Wider is one of those writers who his characters sound distinct enough. I mean, Isaac and Darnell and Charlie and Mayday and Sanskrit and Lil Slip, they all sound
Isaac,
very distinct.
I hated Isaac. Like, you good. I should hate Isaac. You know, he's the guy that's just always seeing dollar signs everywhere. I totally agree with that. And that's a sign of a good writer, is that, because obviously all these characters, every word out of their mouths, every action that they take is all coming from one brain. It's the writer, right? Yeah. And so to do it well, ultimately they are all coming from one person, but a good writer can write them in a way and get into their characters. So as he's writing their dialogue on screen or on paper, let's stick with on screen because we're not on typewriters, but that it does come off as a different person, right? And so that comes with experience, and that comes with really exploring that and stretching those brain muscles that allow you to do that. And yeah, I agree. I just, it's funny. We're on sync in so many. I wish I disagreed with you more because it'd probably be more interesting to listen to, but I think that, I agree. I think that this is a good movie. I think that it could be well done. I think we always talk about budget whenever I'm with you. I think this would be pretty cheap to make. There's not a lot here for sets and stuff. It'd be pretty easy to do. Not a lot of stunts to have to deal with. I mean, there's definitely some fun stuff. The gore, I would love to see more. I'm a huge fan of the old gore special effects, or not special effects, but practical effects.
Yep.
And they've come so far with makeup and stuff. They can make it still look really good in HD. And that face thing would be really interesting to see what they could do with practical effects. I appreciate for what it is. It's not something I would take my girlfriend to, but I appreciate for what it is, and I respect that people love this kind of movie.
This would kind of be the movie that your girlfriend would take you to, because I don't know what it is about women. They like horror way more than most men do.
Oh man, not my girl. No way. She hates
Okay,
that stuff.
no, she's got a bit more of a less demented head on her shoulders.
No, I know those women are out there because they're all buying tickets for Wicked 2. So I know they're out there.
Well, Wicked 2 or Terrifier or Scream is coming out too. They're looking forward to that.
Yeah. So what about you? What do you think? You think you overall liked it? What were your main impressions then?
No, I overall enjoyed the script for what it was because it is unapologetic in trying to be a horror with some really. I mean, it doesn't have much comedy to it unless you imagined Chris Farley playing Superfan. But I mean, it does. It's unapologetically trying to be what it's trying to be. It's not trying to be anything more or less than that. It definitely it's not an agenda driven film because the families in this town are of all types. And so they're not just going after, the hip hop group that happens to all be black. They're going after them because they feel what they represent led to the death of essentially the next generation of their town, of their population. Like, we are shown that there's almost no kids in this town. And everybody's relatively the same age with a couple of exceptions of some elders, and which means that you're like, oh, the entire next generational line, which would be between the ages of say 18 and 25, all died in a bus accident wanting to go see this hip hop group.
Right.
And
they
have nothing left to lose. Like the last woman, the last young kid that we see, aside from the one working at the gas station, is Allie, and Sanskrit kills her in self-defense. So, this town is basically going to be unless people move in, from somewhere else, this town will eventually be abandoned and unincorporated because everybody will have died off with no generation to pick up where they left off.
Yeah, or at least they're gonna have a huge old gap, right? You're gonna have 10 years before the young kids come up of age, I guess.
If there are any, yeah, that's the thing. We don't know.
We don't know because we never see them. Yeah, I mean, I can tell you this: I grew up in a really small town, right? So 46 kids where I graduated from high school. That's right, 46 kids. And I can tell you that everyone's related, or they go so far back to some degree, right? It is very tight knit. So that part of it is all very, very on point. Mm. But getting all of those people, getting 100 people or so on board to murder a bunch of people, I don't think that would ever fly. But maybe there's a town out there in the deep south or something that would go for this. But
some sort of rural town, somewhere. It doesn't have to be deep south; it could be anywhere in America where there's some rural villages.
Well, and the irony. Yeah. Sorry. The irony here is that, remember, this is another layer. It's just clicking now. Is don't smoke, don't do drugs, don't drink, don't swear, but we're going to murder these guys and get justice, right? So it just goes to show that that people can make exceptions for anything. Because here's a town filled with people that don't even believe in drinking alcohol that will kill you and take you out. So
when it comes to their kids, right? They're very. When a lot of people, when it comes to their kids, they're very. Much playing with emotions on their sleeves, and I don't blame them for doing so. Because I've traveled around. There was a really tiny town in Alberta that I visited to where all the kids were within 2 to 3 years apart from each other, and there was no one older than them, and other than their parents, and no one younger than them. That was it. And it was a town of, I think, 350 people.
Wow! Holy cow!
And the thing is, with every generation, it kind of got smaller because even though a lot of the families, everybody had a lot of siblings, not all of them would stay. So the ones that would stay would, carry on, and then the others would leave the town. And one of my buddies, who I haven't spoken to in years, came from that town. That's why we passed through. And he made a joke. It's yeah, have you ever seen Village of the Dams? Of course. He goes, yeah, we're gonna go through the town that's just like that. It's just creepy because you're just gonna see one generation of kids as if they're all born at the same time, like the movie, and no one younger, no one in between. Just a couple of the grandparents, the parents, and the children are basically young adults now. And when we went through there, yeah, there's I think a bunch of newborns all around the same time, between 6 months and a year and a half. And it's oh man, that is weird, but those towns happen. And I was just picturing this town being in that same situation where all these kids they get killed just a couple years before they get married and start having children of their own in that town and continuing the legacy. And I think it's a very interesting motivation. It's a very empathetic motivation. It's one where if you really do have a tight knit town, you can kind of buy that they'd get behind this act of vengeance. And the other part too is like there are some setups and payoffs. It does bounce between a little bit of like Joss Whedon plot structure with setups and payoffs, and then a bit of Tarantino flashbacks to fill in certain gaps. There, they make a Tarantino reference again to this writer Will. If you do take another crack at revising this script because you have some better ideas or things that you want to further refine, cut out all the movie references. You don't need them. Just don't make people think of other movies, because if they are not liking the script, they're going to argue you're reminding them of a better movie than your script. And if they do like the script, you're killing the momentum of them liking it because you've now reminded them of another movie that they also like. And they're going to be thinking about that a little bit more until whatever's on the page catches their interest back again. So strongly advised to avoid referencing other films in your scripts. I know there are some other younger writers and even a couple of veteran writers that do that. It's still bad form, in my opinion.
Well, yeah,
a lot of my friends that are story analysts, readers, and producers, when they come across that, they're like, "Yeah, man! As soon as this guy referenced, this Spielberg movie, I had to toss the script down and take a break because I just wanted to go watch that movie instead of read the script."
Well, yeah, and then you kind of want to stand on your own, right? Like if it's an homage to something and it's similar that inspired you, that's great. Everybody borrows from everybody else in the creative process, but if you do it well enough, it'll stand on its own, and then later on, yeah, they might be like, oh yeah, that reminds me of this. But if you just like shine a big old spotlight on it, then yeah, you've completely stopped the rhythm of your own story. So yeah, I agree. Don't do that.
Yeah, the thing is that you as a writer are trying to stand out, and there's a couple ways to do that. The first one is tell a very simple story very, very well. Like, don't try to go crazy. Don't make it convoluted. Simple plot, complex characters. That's what you do. This one here, very simple plot. Survive the night and get out of town. Very easy to do so. Understanding the motivations of the characters. Motivations for the re-up. Well, to survive. There's also sub-motivations, which is Mayday wants to get back to his wife and be there for his kid. Little Slip is trying to figure out his direction because he's got opportunities that he's being told to take, but it comes at the expense of the band that he's been with for a decade. Sanskrit, she wants to ride this out as long as she can because she doesn't know what to do with her future later. So she's putting all her eggs in this basket. And Isaac, of course, just wants a whole bunch of cash and fame for himself as the manager of Re-Up. So easy to comprehend, easy to explain. I am glad that while the log line for this does imply a different type of story than what we get, this type of story we do get is still pretty interesting. And definitely fits into that type of genre. Like, what is it? There's this horror movie with Elijah Dushku. I think it was shot in Australia. It's something on a road. Can't remember the name.
Do not know that one.
But
I do not.
They
know
made
that
a couple of them. And so yeah, like I overall enjoyed. I enjoyed the script up until where we cut it off. I'm not going to talk about the ending part, although I do think I highly advise if you guys out there listening to this are interested in reading the script, definitely read it. Definitely get it to the end. Share your thoughts with me in the comment section. I'd love to get those thoughts here. And speaking of which, we're going to head over to the Patreon right now because we do have a comment from one of our patrons on this script. Now, I'm not going to mention the name because I think they might model a bit of privacy. But if it is you, you can just leave a comment on the post or on the YouTube side of things. We're happy to give you a shout out there. But this particular patron says, a small suggestion. The Uber driver could have interjected which one is her favorite song. Then it turns out that Lil Slip wrote it, which justifies that he's too talented for the group. Then the opposite could have happened when the yuppie couple stated their favorite song that Mayday and Sanskrit wrote, which further inflames the drama. In horror movies, usually there's a sin that the hero committed and they pay the price. I thought that elderly masked man would have accused them of their sin and doled out their punishment. Example, offensive lyrics, loud noises, cursing, etc. But there wasn't any. That's my biggest criticism. And you know what? That's a really fair criticism, and one thing that I think would have amplified the additional motivation that the town had in wanting to basically get their revenge for the loss of their kids is it's not just enough that they were a popular band that the kids were interested in. What if also the parents said they're a popular band, but we don't like how they become popular and we don't like the messaging of their songs, and we think that it's too tempting to a type of lifestyle that we don't agree with, and yet while we're trying to be supportive of our kids and letting them go experience this band live, it came at the expense of their lives, and it kind of reaffirms their assumptions earlier that this was not, that regardless of this band and what they do, it's not something that should have taken their kids away from them. So yeah, it's a very good point.
Let me add one layer to that too.
Sure, please,
because that got my brain working. So, and what if instead of when the heavyset mask lady reads the lyrics about being tied down and all that crap, right? Mm-hmm. What if the lyrics that she pulled was from one of their songs that just coincidentally mocked the death of their children? So something about you worship us like sheep. You're just cattle to me. When you bleed, I don't even know who you are. I don't know. You have some lyrics that really that the families
can interpret as them being mocked about their kids. Yeah.
Yes, and so they read them that, and then it takes that to a whole new level.
So like a little slip diss track to another band member, and he speculates about how the kids mean, like, children mean nothing to, or his fans or whatever mean nothing to them. And, the Dean and Erica are like, yeah, or, the masked fat lady is like, yeah, that's, that song hits really close to home for us here,
Yep.
So that's your first tip. And then your payoff is when you find out, oh, all your children died in a bus accident coming to see our show.
Yeah. Yep. And then so that's all stuff that comes in the rewrite, right? You think about it as you're rewriting. You go, oh yeah, we can make this even. You drive the dagger even deeper into your protagonist to make it hurt even more. And so yeah, I like it. That's a great comment on Patreon. Thanks for that.
Yes, thank you so much for that. And then going over to the live chat, we have a couple of donations here. First one is from the Deadman79 with $4.99. Who says, I cut the tip of my thumb off the other day. Your stories make me feel better about it healing properly. Well, I do hope, Deadman, that it does heal properly, that you also got the proper medical treatment. One of the things that I was told to do is Polysporin or Vaseline, like just drench that stuff in it and put a big, wrapping over top of it, change it regularly every couple hours, keep it clean. And yeah, in time, it will heal. I hope the tip of your thumb does return, because thumbs are very important. We also have a $10 super sticker of a fox squeezing a heart from the wonderful Sagacious Six, who I stream with every once in a while, who's a big supporter of myself and a bunch of other people on the interwebs here. Thank you so much for that. Not expecting it, but greatly accepted. And of course, as always, not required. Now, also on top of that, so we do put up polls here for our audience when they are reading the script or haven't read the script but listening to the show. How would they vote on the script? Now, over on the Patreon side, we got a 50-50 split between green light and pass. So of the people that read this, half of them liked it enough to green light, the other half to pass, possibly due to the gore, because I completely understand that. And then over on the live show on YouTube, we got an 83% for green light and a 17% to pass. So that, again, horror genre, thriller genres, those are dicey. Not a whole lot of people tend to jump in on them. So I like this, because this is now like a very well-rounded interpretation of the script and interpretation of our conversation. And it shows this is the stuff I live for. I like the discourse on it. It's that there are some people like, no, it's not for me. And others like, what? I kind of want to see this. And maybe there's some people out there that have the morbid sense of curiosity, like myself, is like, I really want to know the details of how this gore stuff works out.
Well, and I think that I would pass on this if it was like, hey, do you want to go see this movie? I would pass. But if I was a studio exec and I'm like, hey, can we make money off this? I'd say yeah. This is this could sell tickets. Let's release it end of September, beginning of October, or whatever. Kind of make it, put it around that time of the year. And I think you'd make money as long as you were just smart with your budget and you weren't like Disney level of idiocy on your film budget. This would make money. So I would definitely greenlight this film. I think it's got great potential and it's a fun ride for those people who enjoy this genre of film.
I would greenlight it as well. I'd also, although I really do despise using AI, I really do want to see someone take a couple of scenes of Superfan from the script, put in the prompt, do this as Chris Farley, and then just put those online because I think they'd be hysterical.
Do a Guy Fieri mask.
Oh, Guy Fieri mask. As a Guy Fawkes version of Guy Fieri mask.
Guy Fawkes. Yeah, dude, that's in my brain now. That's hilarious. Like you'd have to, because it'd be so easy to do with his bleached hair and his goatee, dude. Like,
because it'd be a bleached blonde goatee on a kind of more of a rounded faced mask.
Some spiky hair coming off the front of it.
Spiky hair coming off the front of it. But the thing is, like, okay, you have remember the 4th of November. What would be the rhyme for Guy Fieri? Like, this kicks? I don't know. What does he say these days? I can't remember. It's been a while.
I don't know, but for him, it'd have to be something food related. It'd be like the finer. Don't forget my favorite diner. Like, I don't know, something like that, dude.
Okay,
just something food related.
Well, for you guys out there listening, if you're interested in a Guy Fieri mask and a slogan, throw your comments down there. We'll see what we can. We'll entertain it for future shows to see what tracks. Maybe we'll do something fun with that because I kind of want to see a Guy Fieri black and white or blonde and white in this case Guy Fieri mask.
Oh my God, I can't believe I said that. That's hilarious.
There we go. All right, so I guess we've made it official. This for us is a double green light on the part. A little split with the audience, but that's what makes a show like this interesting. So really want to say thank you guys for joining us. I want to give a shout out, of course, to our wonderful mods, which would be Darren M, The Dead Man, and Sagacious 6. Thank you so much for being here, and everyone in the live chat for showing up and listening to us as well. And if you're listening on the replay, thank you so much for doing so. I really hope you've enjoyed this conversation, and I really hope that you guys check out the script Detour by Will Wider. And if you cannot find it through a Google search online, just feel free to reach out to me. I know X has an issue with DMs at the moment, but you can send me a DM there, or you can email me at thescriptdoctorphd@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to help you get this script in your hands. Because as always, we don't want to try and make these go viral and ruin the potential of the writer, but we do want to give it some extra attention, extra love, or extra advice if it needs it, so that these writers here have a little bit more going for them in their endeavors to get something made. Because one thing that I've been really liking about the last year and a half is more original products are kind of popping up. They're getting harder to find, so hopefully we can shine a little bit of a spotlight to them so that when we do find out what gets announced, a bunch of people who have already heard our conversations or read those scripts can maybe go watch them, see how well they're executed, and maybe recommend them to some of their friends and have that kind of spread out that way, because that goes a long way, not just for up-and-coming filmmakers, but also for us kind of galvanizing the entertainment industry as it tries to figure out its current place in the 21st century. So, with that, Mac, any final thoughts before we wrap it up for the night?
No, we said it. We said it all. I love it. It's good. Always fun to do this show. Do you have anything you want to say about next week? Because man, it's show 100. You got to do something cool, man.
Well, show 100 it's another like standard script, but maybe I'll try and do something as like an after show with some people to see what I can organize there. I mean, it's always tricky. One of the things that benefits the show in having like multiple different co-hosts is that we're always able to make a show like we haven't missed one yet, and knock on wood that we don't. But the other part too is it's also a little bit tricky because sometimes people are like, yep, I'm good for the weekend, and then life gets in the way, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I actually think it's a better thing, and it's like, okay, well, we got to get someone in on on for the show. And I'm very behind on recording some backup shows and even like a bonus show for you guys out there. It's just I was not expecting to be this busy after a writer's strike had ended, and a lot of my colleagues are too. So it's really good now. We while the industry is kind of shrinking and it looks like it's dramatic, just think of it as like kind of like a natural weight loss. Like you were on an intravenous of nothing but sugar for years, and you got fat and comfortable and warm. and you realize, oh, this is really bad for you. So we're just going to pull the IV. We're going to put you on some proper food, solid food. And all of a sudden you start dropping massive amounts of weight really fast to the point where you think you're dying. And it's really just your body kind of rebalancing itself. The industry's doing that right now. And so, yeah, it's putting a lot of people on edge, and justifiably so. But I think next year and the year after, some of the things that are going to be coming out are going to be some really good crowd pleasers. I don't think they'll be huge financial hits, but they'll definitely be projects that people will really enjoy. And you'll get to see more of it.
Glad to hear it. So it's kind of a wheat from the tares moment, maybe for Hollywood.
Yeah, something like that.
Like all of the deadbeats, or not the deadbeats, the dead weight. Sorry, might be getting cut loose. And
a lot of them already have.
And the real talent is finally going to be able to get their chance.
Well,
I don't care what's between your legs. I don't care what skin color you are. Like, the best talent should always be given the chance to shine, because that's where the best art is, and that's where the best stories are, and that's where the best everything is, you know. And so, yeah, we just need to get back to that. Just tell good stories and let people with the talent have the opportunity to do so. You know, that's all we want. We just want to be entertained and see new things and experience amazing stories
and get stimulated with new ideas and get new discussions and things that kind of expand the mind without the use of some recreational pharmaceuticals. But if you do partake in that and you also see something that expands your mind, well, that's just a double dip.
Win-win.
Exactly.
Hopefully that's what Project Hail Mary is going to be, man. I'm so stoked for that movie. Oh my gosh, dude. I'm so excited.
Likewise.
I've been this excited about a movie in a long time, so I'm really looking forward to it, man.
All right. Well, with that, guys, I want to thank you so much for joining us this evening. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back next week with show 100. The script that we'll be reading there is called Bloody Mingo, which is weird, but it's apparently some sort of Appalachian type of themed story. We'll get into more details of that out on the Patreon. So if you're not a member of the Patreon, you want to support the show, you can sign up there. First week is free. You get a whole bunch of my posts and musings and how-tos and everything that you would be interested in if you wanted to pursue writing as either a hobby or a career. You'll also get, because Patreon has upgraded their systems, I can now do some more interesting stuff with some new posts. So I'll be playing around with that as we continue on. Because I am expecting at some point everything's gonna slow down to a halt, and I'll actually have a lot of free time, and I'll be able to do some more stuff here on the channel, and there on the Patreon for all of you guys, because I do appreciate your support. It means so much to me that you just want to listen to us talk about screenwriting, because it's nowhere near as dramatic as other aspects of conversation here on YouTube, but it is fun to see and also remind people out there that even though some of the entertainment, especially the big stuff, feels kind of boring or derivative or what have you, there's still some people out there that are trying to tell some fun, really creative stories, and I'm happy to give them a couple hours a week, to talk about their endeavors, and encourage them and encourage people out there looking for that type of stuff, that it does exist and it's not all lost to the weeds. So with that being said, I want to thank you all again. Have a great, wonderful weekend, and never forget, guys, when it comes to great story, it all starts with script.